What is going on, everybody? Bauer Brown here. Welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome to another video. Happy Saturday to everybody. All right, so the video that I have for you guys today, I know we're looking at a Farming Simulator 22 screen, but we are going to be doing a comparison between Tobii eye tracker and the TrackIR head tracker. All right, so with FS25 on the horizon, right? Everybody's getting excited for that. And if you're looking to up your game and immerse yourself into it even further than you already are, head tracking is a good way to do that. All right, so maybe you own one and not the other, and you want to see what it's all about, or you're just looking to get into it, like I said, kind of up your game, and it really is immersive, right? So if before you spend the money, if you want to find out a little bit about one versus the other, which one may be better for Farming Simulator or any game overall, this is going to be the video for you. Okay. Now, I've seen a lot of these comparisons, and I always feel like they're very one-sided for whatever reason. Now, what I'm guessing is whoever's doing the review is probably owns one of the products and not the other. So it tends to be biased. All right. In this case, I do own both of these, so I'm going to give you an honest opinion on how each one of these works specifically for Farming Simulator. Now, it does work for lots and lots of other games. I use it religiously for a lot of games, but let's get into it, right? So I'll explain a little bit about each one of these. So first off, we'll start with Tobii. All right. Now, Tobii runs about $279 US, so it is not cheap. I mean, if you're Mr. Moneybags, then sure, not a problem. But for the average citizen, most of us, that's a pretty good chunk of change for, a video game or a component for a video game. So what Tobii is, it's an eye tracker. All right. And this is what it looks like. And it sticks right to the bottom of your computer screen like you see here. Now with mine, it is adjustable, so you can kind of adjust it, not in and out, it tilts, right? So if you're like a taller or shorter person and you need to tilt it to kind of catch your eyes, it's a little bracket that you stick to the bottom of the screen. Now the sticky pads that they give you, I guess you can call them, my sticky became unsticky after a while. And not a big deal. I found some industrial Velcro and I really stuck that to the bottom of the screen. Now, one of the things is, depending on your monitor, if, you really, really love your monitor, and I had a hard time personally sticking anything to my monitor. It just didn't feel right. I did eventually do it, but man, I didn't want to. I just really did not want to put any type of industrial adhesive onto the bottom of my monitor. So keep that in mind, that you will need to stick something to the bottom of your monitor. All right. So like I said, it's an eye tracker versus a head tracker. So it tracks your eyes. Now I wear glasses and it has not been a problem at all. It sees right through your eyeglasses. Now sunglasses may be a problem, but eyeglasses have not held this thing up at all. Perfectly work right through your eyeglasses. All right. So it is a little bit of a price tag. It does stick to the bottom of your screen. But other than that, like I said, no issues with eyeglasses or anything like that. Now, one of the advantages here is it does work in all light conditions. All right. Whereas TrackIR, if it's a bright sunny day, or if it's very, very bright in your room, direct sunlight somehow is hitting your receiver, it could goof things up a little bit. Now, overall, it depends on your setup, right? So if you're in a very bright room, maybe you want to close the curtains or something like that. But overall, I have very, very little issues with that. It's fully adjustable. TrackIR is fully adjustable to try to filter out some of that light and to get a better read. But we'll get to that. All right. So wide range of screen support for Tobii does fit on any size screen. Like I said, it fits right underneath. And you kind of go through and you adjust the parameters for where on your screen the Tobii is sitting. And it just, like I said, it works really well. Wearing eyeglasses, no problem. And it has not been a problem. Now, where Tobii makes a little bit of a difference is it does has a few additional features that you can use besides just eye tracking, right? So there's a couple of things that you can use it for within Windows. Some of it I use or have used, some of it I don't. We'll get to it when I show you the program. I'll show you what it does and what it does not do. So it works with curved screens, and one of their advantages is there's no wearables, right? So there's no hat clip or anything that goes on to your headphones or anything like that. It just, sticks to the bottom of your screen, and then it stares at you. It is what it does. And like I said, it works with all sorts of, different games, and it's really, really good utility. All right. So TrackIR, on the other hand, doesn't stick. Now there's the thing. It sets on the top of your screen. All right. It's a lot different. Now they both work off of like an IR, right? So they beaming radiation at your head all day long. But IR though, not radiation, but it's an IR beam that is looking at you. All right. So the difference with this is 6 degrees of freedom, right? So whereas the other one was tracking your eyes, this one has either a hat clip, so you have to wear a hat, right? So you have a hat that and like a baseball cap, and this clip would go on to the front of your baseball cap. It has reflectors on it, and the IR that it's shooting out of here. Now you can't see it; it's invisible. It's IR, but it reflects back. The reflectors on that clip reflect back to this monitor here, and that's how it tracks your head movement. Now there is a clip that can go on your headphones also. So if you don't want to wear a hat, you have a sweaty head or whatever, maybe you don't own a hat, who knows? You can get an additional clip that goes onto your headphones. But in any case, you do need to have one of those, whether it's a hat clip or headphone clip. You do need to wear something extra. All right. So like I said, the other one tracks your eyes, but this one, since it tracks your head, you can see the type of movements, the side to side for your yaw, forward, back, the head roll, and then the X, Y, and Z movements of your head. It will track all of that. This is what it looks like. It sits on the top of your monitor, like I said. Comes with some groovy software that you can use to set it up. I'll show you that. And like I said, you could, all sorts of different things you can do with that. It is adjustable. You can, put it to the left of your screen, right of your screen, middle of your screen. Maybe you have a webcam or something on the top of your screen and you want to be able to slide this thing back and forth. So all in all, setup for both of them, neither one of them is an issue. I think Tobii's at a little bit of a disadvantage because you have to put sticky stuff on your screen. So it kind of is what it is. All right. So the price tag on this one, you can see TrackIR 5 runs at about 150 US, and TrackIR 4 is about $100. I can't say much about TrackIR 4 because I do not own that. Now here's what all of the units look like. Now they don't show the head clip here for whatever reason, the hat clip, and it's not bad. Just like a tiny little metal thing that just sticks on the brim of your hat. So you have options, right? So here's the Track Clip Pro. This is the doodad that would go on your headset. Mostly what you really, really need is just the TrackIR right here where it says TrackIR 5. Now this, I believe, for this 150 comes with the head clip. All right. Now the Pro bundle here will come with the receiver, this Track Clip Pro, and I believe it also comes with the hat clip, right? So you get both types of clips, and then you can buy the Track Clip Pro separate if you need to. The hat clip you can also buy separate if you need to, because I did have to replace one of those throughout the years. They're pretty much indestructible, but I sort of lost mine during a move. So it is what it is. Okay, so one versus the other, like I said, there's definitely a difference in price. I mean, Tobii costs nearly $100 more. It said it does a few additional things within Windows. The Windows Hello, it works with that. It works with like tracking mouse movements, stuff like that. I'll show you the software and I'll show you the things that it does. Whereas TrackIR does none of those things, but what it does do, it does very well. All right. So like I said, they're both good units. They both do everything, that they advertise. So nothing's really misleading about anything that they advertise. Tobii said it works through glasses, and it does. It works very, very well through glasses. The light doesn't bother it, and it doesn't. Completely bright room, sunlight shining right on the thing is it's not going to interfere. So like I said, there's no false advertising between either one of these. I think everything that's advertised, they do exactly what they say. All right, so let's head on over to the software. I'll take a really quick look at the software and I'll show you what each one of these does as far as that goes. All right, so this is the software for Tobii eye tracking. Now, when you buy it, it's going to take you through a whole setup procedure. All right, now I cannot recall the software. You don't get any type of disk or anything like that. It's just something you have to go and download from the internet. All right. And it could be bit confusing trying to figure out exactly which piece of software you need. But once you get it nailed down, I mean, it's a little confusing, but overall, not too bad. But once you get it, nailed down and you get your software downloaded and installed, it's just a matter of getting everything set up at that point. Right. So let it run through the installation process, do what it needs to do. And then you can go into each one of these four categories they have here. All right. So we'll start at the bottom one here, this productivity. So it does different things, right? So depending on, the type of screen that you have. If you're not in front of your screen, it knows that you're not in front of it and it will dim your screen for you. All right. Now with mine doesn't do it. You can see mine is grayed out. Okay. And it says, it has to do with right here. If my screen doesn't support the dim screen feature. All right. And I have 4 screens set up on my computer. So it kind of messes with it a little bit, I guess. Or it's just this particular screen that doesn't support it. All right. So stay awake. It'll, keep your computer awake as long as you're in front of it. And I think maybe my power management options are not allowing me to do that. Either way, I have it set up that my power management is already keeping it awake. Application switcher. Now with Windows, if you're a Windows user and you use like the Alt tab, if you bring up your applications that way, that is you can switch between applications just using your eyes. All right, sort of where you stare is where it'll switch to application. And again, with mine, mine doesn't work because of I have multiple screens. Windows Snap Assist, if you know what that is inside of Windows, you can just look at an app to highlight it. Again, mine does not work. Actually, you know what? Let's enable it. Maybe some of these will come on. All right. So Stay Awake will work for me. Sorry. And Windows Snap Assist will work for me. All right. So the application switcher and the dim screen does not work for me. All right. Warp mouse pointer to where you look. That one also works for me, but I have it turned off. And what that is as you're moving your mouse around, if you happen to be like staring like in the upper right hand corner, once you nudge your mouse a little bit, it'll instantly reappear over here, which is pretty cool for a little bit. You're playing around with it and it's pretty decent. But depending on what you're trying to do, it gets annoying. So I had it shut off. Because it's a mouse. It's really not that complicated to kind of move it across the screen if you need to. All right. So in a nutshell, what we're trying to get at is it does a lot of different things productivity wise, right? So you can use it for a bunch of different stuff, as far as Windows is concerned. Now they do have some privacy features for auto locking Windows and Windows Hello. I do use it with Windows Hello, but my camera does most of the work anyhow. So I can't tell you if it's making a big difference there or not. Streaming. Now they have something you have to download separate software, but they have this thing called Tobii Ghost, right? And what it does is it puts this little bubble up on your screen. So if you're a streamer, wherever you happen to be looking on your screen, wherever your eyes are looking, a bubble will show up, right? So your audience can see where you're looking, right? So if that's important to you or you think that would be cool to play with, Tobii does that. And then, of course, with your gaming, it does, literally everything that you need it to do as far as a head tracker is concerned. Okay. Well, I can't say literally everything. We'll get to that. All right. And then there is a game hub that you can download for free, but who needs a game hub if you already have Steam and everything else? All right. So that is the software that comes with Tobii. I keep that disabled. I keep it disabled because it does interfere with TrackIR. If you have them both turned on at the same time, TrackIR will freak out if you have your Tobii turned on. All right, so let's get over to the TrackIR software and see what kind of differences we have there. All right, so this is the software for TrackIR. Give me 1 second. Let me put on my head tracker. All right, so there we go. So now I actually have the clip on. I have the track on, right? And so as I look around, you can kind of see what it does here. And I think you can switch over to camera mode, like camera view. And that is the clip that's on the top of my hat. So it kind of looks like three little reflectors, and you can see how it's reflecting back. Now, when I move my head to the left that way, it's going red because my microphone stand is right there, right? So it can't see the clip. So it's kind of a good way to troubleshoot, your unit if you're having any kind of problems with it reading. All right. Now you can set it up if you have the Track Clip or the Track Clip Pro. A bunch of different stuff you can do as far as your motion control, set it up for different titles of different games. And then you can tweak the camera settings, right? So the LED brightness, all of this stuff. And it comes in really handy if you are in a bright environment and you need to maybe turn up the IR brightness a little bit, or the filter threshold. You need to tweak that a little bit. And I've got mine set. I'm not showing you now because I have it set to the point where my track IR is pretty much flawless, right? Even on a bright sunny day, I have no issues, and I like it that way, right? So I don't want to mess with it. But it does let you go through and you can adjust all these different cameras, and it'll show you, which way your head's looking, up, down, left, right. You can center your camera if you need to center it. So really, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't do any of the things that Windows does, right? So it doesn't integrate with Windows, has any of those cool features, right? But really, you don't need it to. You didn't buy it for that. You bought it, so you can play games, and it does that very well. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, those are the major differences between the softwares and prices and what I think of each unit. Or at the end, I'll tell you more of what I think of each unit. But for now, let's jump in game, and I will give you a real world demonstration of how each of these works. Okay. All righty. So here we are. We made it in game, or I made it in game. Now I do have my volume turned down just because I was tired of messing with it and trying to get a respectable volume that wasn't going to drown me out. Alrighty, so here I am sitting. I have Tobii turned on. Okay. Now the way this works, it only works inside the cab. All right. So if you're out of the tractor and you want to look around, moving your head is not going to do anything, or your eyes. So like I said, I have Tobii turned on right now, and you have to be inside of the tractor. Okay. So now right now I'm moving my whole head. I'm going to move it from left to right. I'm just going to turn my head. All right. So to the right, it works pretty well. It's having a problem with the left. And the reason for that is because my microphone stand is just to the left of me. All right. So it's losing my eye right to the left. So it can't really see, my left eye, or when I move in that direction, it's missing it. Now, like I said, with this being an eye tracker, as I look up to the upper right-hand corner, it'll look there. I look down, it'll look there. So to an extent, it will track your head movements. If you look up, you look down, I look to the right. All right. So if I want to look behind me, it kind of does that. It gives me problems. Every now and then it will work. Sometimes it will, sometimes I won't. All right. So like I said, this is just what you get. Now it's limited because, like I said, my microphone stand, when I move this way, it's messing me up. But moving to the right and up and down, it does a decent job, right? So what you're seeing here isn't, really, I want to say it's kind of an unfair shake. That's what I want to say. It's not indicative of everything that it does. Cause, with the microphone stand being in a way, most people won't have a microphone stand right in front of them or the boom. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is like with my desk setup, all right, my steering wheel, where my steering wheel sits, and the Tobii being attached to the bottom of your monitor, it gets in the way. All right. So I have to hold my steering wheel a certain way because if not, as I turn, it blocks my view. It blocks the view of the Tobii, and then things start freaking out and it gets jittery, like you see here, where things kind of just move around and it starts staring in random places. That's what'll happen. So eventually you'll get a little irritated with it and, and that'll be the end of it. All right. So what I'm going to try really quickly here is I'm going to just move the stand out of the way and see if it'll give me a more accurate depiction of what's going on. So you're not gonna hear me for a second, but I'll show you the range of movements. Okay, so you saw that. So left to right, no problems, right? So it tracks me from left to right really well. Up and down, it's got a very limited range of movement. You can't look too far up and you can't look too far down. Like I said, it does track your eyeballs, right? So depending on where your eyes are looking, you need to be prepared for that. So if you're driving and you just kind of like want to peek out your mirror, you're going to get this a lot, right? So you can see my eyes sort of peeking out the mirror, which isn't so bad, but you'll get that depending on where your eyes are looking, your whole screen is going to change, right? So this is me moving my eyes around. So it is neat. It's very neat, and it like I said, it does what's advertised. Now it does take some getting used to. So once you're in your tractor and you're doing your thing and you're moving around, it'll be a little weird at first, but after a while you get used to it. So all in all, if Tobii's the only thing that you own, it's not bad, right? So it will do the job for you. No problem, right? So, I mean, it might have some issues here and there. Like I said, the steering wheel can tend to get in the way. Right now with my microphone boom, it's causing a little bit of an issue. But for head tracking, it will get the job done, more so than having no head tracking. All right. So what I'm going to do is disable this. I'm going to turn on the TrackIR and we will give that a quick shot. All right. So now we are back in game. Okay. Again, I got things a little goofed up here. All right. So like I said, I'm back in game and now I have the TrackIR turned on. Now with TrackIR, there's my left and right head movements. Now up, I can look so far back that I'm actually looking at the sky. All right. Down, same thing, right? So I can tilt my head one way or the other. I have no problem looking out the back of the tractor if I need to, right? So if I have a piece of equipment behind me. Now, the nice thing about this is I can lean. Well, I can't lean to the left because, like I said, my microphone boom is there. But if I can lean to the right, so if I want to look at something out that side of the tractor, I can sort of lean over to get a look at it, right? You can go forward and back with it. So if you're blind, half blind, and you want to have a closer look at your dash, right? So you can actually lean in and look closer that way. All right. So when it comes to TrackIR versus Tobii, TrackIR personally to me has very clear advantages, right? So like I said, just being able to move your head, in and out to get a closer look at something, right? So there's, moving in, moving out. It really, I mean, leaning left and right is extremely, extremely helpful to be able to just lean out your tractor. Now I can put my head so far up that I can look, out the top of the tractor. I could squat down if I need to. You get none of that with Tobii. Tobii will not do any of those things. Now flight simulators, I play flight simulators a lot as well. And what I like about that is if I can't see too well, I can actually kind of put my head up and peek up and over the dash if I need to, right? And it just works really, really well. If there's a piece of equipment that you can't see too well out the side of your tractor, like I said, that function of being able to lean out really, really, really helps. Let me see if I can do it one more time. All right. So it's not, I feel like I'm not giving this I'm not giving it a fair shake because I have all kinds of stuff set up in front of me with my microphone and stuff like that. Uh, but once I'm playing, right? So I have no issues with it, the steering wheel getting in the way. The only issue you may come across with TrackIR is if you have direct sunlight like beaming into your room and it hits the receiver, that may cause a bit of an issue. It may cause some stutter or something like that, but it's extremely easy to get rid of. Just either one, block your window, close your curtains, close your blinds, problem solved. Really, really not that difficult. And that's it. Like I said, the only drawback that some people say is you have to wear, this head clip. And that's what I have. I have the hat on right now. But it just works. It's so much more responsive than Tobii. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this, that when it comes to one to the other, TrackIR is my clear favorite. Absolutely above and beyond. One, it's cheaper. And like I said, the range of movement you get is so much better with TrackIR. And like it doesn't get in the way of my steering wheel. Now, again, with the microphone boom, that does interfere a little bit because it's hanging down. But overall, like I said, it's got a lot more going for it than Tobii does. 100%. Like I said, Tobii, of course it does some things for Windows, but that's not what I bought it for. I didn't buy it for all these Windows doodads. I bought it to play games. I was impressed enough with TrackIR that I like enough that I actually own two of them because I have a separate rig here in my office. I have, well, one was supposed to be for productivity and the other for gaming. But now both of them kind of do a little bit of each. One does a lot of nothing right now. But in any case, I own two of them, one for each computer. It's pretty easy to move. If you do have multiple computers, it's just a USB, plug it in so you can unplug it. It doesn't, like I said, it's not like Tobii. Tobii, you really can't do that because it's sticking to the bottom of your monitor. So if you want to use it on a different computer, you can't just unplug it and, you'd have to get a separate bracket. Now it pulls off and on the bracket by magnetics. So it's only the bracket that actually sticks to the bottom of your monitor. All right. You can pull the Tobii off relatively easily and unplug it. And if you have a separate bracket, which I believe it does come with two brackets, you can stick that other bracket to your other computer. And in that case, it's not too difficult to move, right? So you can just kind of just pull it off because it's only sticking in there by magnetics. And then you can put it on your other computer. TrackIR, same thing. It just kind of sits on the top of your monitor. And if you need to, you can just swap it over to another component. So they're both pretty portable. Like I said, Tobii, little bit less. But if you have the right stuff, like extra brackets and stuff like that, no big deal. All right. Now, as far as, like I said, the range of movements, TrackIR's got it beat hands down. I mean, Tobii's very limited in the movements that you can get out of it. TrackIR, I mean, everything. I mean, you got up, down, you got your tilt motions. Now it doesn't register in this game, but just tilting your head side to side will also register. So like it literally registers every movement that your head could make. And I do like the fact that you're able to look behind you because, you're pulling something half of the time. You're doing something, whether it's a wagon or what have you, you're always pulling something behind your tractor. So you're able to see very clearly with TrackIR. Now, Tobii's hit and miss. Sometimes I can see out the back. Sometimes I can't. Like I said, it's tracking your eyes. So once you move your head, it loses contact with your eyes. And that's kind of it. With TrackIR, all right, so I'm not turning my head completely 180 degrees. I'm turning it far enough that it's registering that I'm trying to look behind me. And that's what it does. All right. So all in all, like I said, you got $100 difference between Tobii and TrackIR, with Tobii being the more expensive of the two. And I don't know what else to say. I kind of went over everything, right? So I thought it was very clear about what does what. They both come with pieces of software. They both do exactly as advertised. But when it comes down to, which one do I think you should get, for your new Farm Sim 25 experience to get a little more immersive, 100% TrackIR, no doubt about it. Like I said, this isn't biased because I only own a TrackIR. I do own both of them. I have used both of them extensively, and without a doubt, TrackIR comes out hands down the winner every time for gaming. So much so that I bought a second one. So it's just go figure, right? All right. So anyhow, like I said, maybe not the best review, but at least you got an honest opinion on what each one of these does. Like I said, both really good units. If you're partial to Tobii for some reason, then go for it, because it does do what it's at, what's advertised. So it's really not a big issue. I have really found no games that weren't compatible. And I mean, it doesn't work with every game, obviously. Neither does Tobii. Neither one of them works with every single game right across the board. I'd say it's a pretty split between the two of them. It's a good handful of games. It's uncommon. I don't want to say it's uncommon to come across a game. It really depends on what the game is. Most of your driving games, flight sim, stuff like that, right out of the box, absolutely are going to work. I think it probably works for more games than what it doesn't, right? Most of the games, you don't have to go in. There's no settings that you have to turn on for head tracking or anything like that. It just works. Once you plug it in, it works right out the box. Now, I believe there is a setting for farm sims, so you can go in there and you can turn the head tracking on or off. But anyhow, that is my opinion. My opinion is between the two, TrackIR, hands down, clear winner, no doubt about it. So if you're looking to save a few bucks and you want to go down that road and try out head tracking, that's my recommendation for you. So like I said, maybe not the best review, but it's an honest review. So I am going to leave it at that, and you can make your decision before FS25 comes out. So with that being said, I'm Bauer Brown, and I will see you on the next one.